People can probably hear you drink, Tim. They can probably hear you drinking soda. It's way too late to be drinking soda, but I'm doing it anyway. And hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Underrail. In the last episode, we found true love in Foundry, and love hurts. In this case, love. What? Oh, you're kidding me! Of course, I don't get a text at all during. And of course, it's the weather, the most useless thing for my phone to decide to tell me of. Of course, I don't get a text or any messages at all day. And the moment I hit record, immediate phone goes off. Of course, keeping it professional. Lotaeri's channel. Your host Tim. Hello, everyone. We found love, and love kicked us in the nuts, and then carved us up with a knife. That was pretty amazing. That was glorious. That was glorious. And then, in a different dimension, a different paradoxical universe, we filled love full of bullet holes. That stopped her from reaching us. Woo! We defeated Evelyn. My first ever doing that encounter that way. That was pretty fun. I very much liked it. We also explored that area of Foundry, and we met Nicholas, a gentleman who I did not even, I think, talk to with my other characters. Maybe I talked to him with Garrett, but I completely ignored him with Gabriel, and I tend never to talk with him because I'm always playing a character who's like a good guy, and or just isn't interested in even accepting his quest, which is apparently to kill his wife. I think we will go back to him in this episode, and we will make an inquiry about what he wants done. Also this episode, everyone, there's going to be a lot of talking, because we're going to be visiting the jail briefly. We'll be visiting, I think his name is Mark or Dave, who's over here, and then visiting the mayor of Foundry as well. So let's go ahead and get all that started, and since I am playing Underrail, we should eat some food. Let's head on down and visit the jail first. And once we're done with all this stuff, we'll do a little bit of random patrolling, assuming I have time. And then, I'm going to read some of the comments you guys left me on part 28. Because I am completely, 100% out of backlog. I've got nothing. And as you've seen, Underrail is being uploaded like once every other day or so. Once every 4 days now. So this is terrible. My channel has become one of those channels that isn't uploading things as often as I would have liked it to have been uploaded because I'm being distracted by all sorts of other video games. And we'll talk about those other video games when we're out there walking. First, sneeze. The weirdest sneeze ever. Alright, hello. This must be the Warden, Delma. A middle-aged woman wearing gleaming metal armor gets up from behind her desk and stands up to meet her guest. She looks at you, lifting her slightly wrinkly eyelids to reveal experienced eyes that haven't lost much intensity since her younger days. Her voice, on the other hand, is already one step inside the grave, for it is heavy and low-pitched, sounding as if there is some weight on her vocal folds, which pushes the voice down into the low range. Good day, sir. My name's Delma Ward, and I'm the Warden of Foundry Prison. Who might you be? I'm Decker. It's a pleasure to meet you. Well, Decker, what can I do to help you? What can you tell me about this place? You mean Foundry? Well, I don't know, amigo. I'm a prison warden, and most of the time I'm making sure murderers, thieves, and other criminals stay locked up or do their community service. It's always the bad side of Foundry I see, and deal with on a daily basis. On the other hand, if you ask some miners the same question, they'll tell you about injury and death in the mine and dangers of working there, especially now with infestation of some very, very aggressive creatures. That's life in Foundry from their perspective. Hell, that's not depressing, she smiles. But there are positive sides too. The mining business brings in a lot of money and goods, and Foundry is one of the safest places to live in South Underrail thanks to the Foundry Guard. So, there's a lot of positives too. Do you know anything about the mine creatures? Well, the Foundry Guard is on high alert right now because of those things. Apparently miners came in contact with some unknown species of violent creatures, and for safety reasons, the mine has been temporarily closed. My advice to you, amigo, would be to avoid going near the mine and to generally stay close to armed personnel until the situation has been resolved. There have been reports of violent killings in the residential area, and the creatures could be responsible. Eyes open. Got it? I find it interesting, so Delma is the only person who uses the word amigo to That means friend, right? Been a long time since I took Spanish class. But she's the only one who actually references the Spanish language, I think, in the entire game. I'm pretty sure. No one else says, like, hola, or de nada, or any of the very basic words I know in Spanish. You know what's odd? I can read Spanish rather well, thanks to many of the words looking a bit like the English language, but I cannot speak it very well. Anyway, I bring this up because I'm curious as to how or why she uses this language. Maybe she read this in a different book that she has somewhere. There's no reference to this little quirk of hers anywhere, as far as I'm aware, in Underrail. What can you tell me about this prison? Well, the prison is so secure, no one's ever managed to escape from here. No one even tried. Everyone knows how any such attempts will end. Well, there was a riot several years ago. Unsuccessful, of course, but other than that, nothing. Foundry prides itself with being a station of justice. All prisoners go through fair trial, something which is rarely performed nowadays, amigo. Usually it's, you seem guilty. Boom. Next, please. Sad but true. What can you tell me about the community service? Sure I can, amigo. All prisoners are required to perform community service jobs. Since Foundry revolves around mining, all those who are physically capable of such work are sent to the mine. It's like a regular job, only you get paid less. Actually, you don't get paid at all. Those who are not able to work inside the mine, we find something for them. It all depends on their previous skills, physical fitness, and other factors. All is well. We never had any problems with prisoners outside the prison. They know they couldn't outsmart and escape the Foundry Guard anyway, so no one even bothered trying. I see you like growing flowers. Yeah, I do. Say, what do you think of them? They're okay, I suppose. Well, I really like them. I find it relaxing to have flowers in the office, amigo. When I feel the need to unwind, I sit down and observe them in all their beauty. I enjoy the wonderful colors that are missing from the world around us. I simply watch them in silence, nothing else. My works of art. A smile escapes her for a brief moment. And during that time, while I'm relaxing in my office, all is well. Then someone brings in a guy who killed his brother with a jackhammer. I see it's time to get back to work. I swear, people just get more and more violent these days. That certainly seems to be the case, doesn't it, Delma? Alright, thank you. We aren't going to inquire about Mr. Sallywatch until I've had more of an opportunity to explore Underrail. Speaking of exploring, I almost walked out of here without searching some of these people's pockets. We're gonna fix that right now. We could use all those fusion coins to keep our shields powered. Let's see what this Foundry Gunner has. So while I'm pickpocketing, what's been going on? So, as you guys probably saw, maybe I even talked about this. Why can I steal the boots off of these people? Why can I steal boots off of all the guards wearing metal armor? That is so weird. Because I can't steal the shoes off of other people. I can't steal the sniper rifles boots. I can't steal the sniper's boots right there. So, as you guys saw, I actually was able to upload some Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I plan to record more of that this week. Today is May 26, 2021. And if everything goes well, I'm hoping to be able to upload this part actually tomorrow. What the heck? 2 Underrail videos in 1 week? That's so weird. Remember when I used to upload like 2 of these a day? A year ago? My goodness, what the heck has happened? Yep, so doing that, Fell Seal Arbitor's Mark. I think I just got to the plot twist for Fell Seal, which means that I'm probably at the 3/4 mark now. The 3/4 mark or the 2/3 mark. I think it's probably the 3/4. I probably got another 5, maybe 7 more quests left there, and then we're done. Oh my goodness, what a great game that is. A bit odd though. Something that I guess that's just something I can talk about after we're done talking with... Oh, West, not David. What's his name? You see a thin man soldering some components onto a copper-colored circuit board. He doesn't immediately notice you, which gives you a few moments to observe him. His dark hair is streaked with aluminum gray strands. His wrinkles form ravines in his face, and his hands are only steady when the soldering iron meets the board. Yet some strange and subtle signs give you a feeling that this man is somehow younger than he appears. But you are unable to pinpoint exactly why. Your thoughts are interrupted when he notices you. Ah, welcome to my electronics store, friend. Name's George West. You ought to say something, because I can't help you if I don't know you're here. He smiles. What do you know about the mine creatures, Mr. West? Nothing. It doesn't concern me. Every problem we've had so far in Foundry was quickly handled by the Foundry Guard. I dislike this place for many reasons. Its pollution being one of them. But I can't deny that security here is top-notch. Everyone's blabbering about these monsters and how they're sneaking into the residential and killing people. As long as there isn't one in my store, I don't care. But that's just my opinion, friend. What can you tell me about this place? I don't know. Foundry's a large station with a rich mine. We're pretty well known as a station with the best defenses in South Underrail. The Foundry Guard makes sure of it. Alright, now give me the other side of the truth. The air pollution. It's really bad, friend. See what I mean? My nose, throat, and lungs are slowly being eroded by the foulness of the air, just like nearly everyone else's. I pity those working in the mine, or those sweating in the metalworks. And I'm thankful I'm not in their boots. But I get to have my own store without anyone racketeering me, which used to be the case before I moved here. So this is my life now. Whether I made the right choice or not, I suppose the future will tell me that. Any more questions, friend? Yeah, let me see what you got. West will have mid-level equipment. Roughly, actually mid-level's a bit too gracious, I think, of a term. I believe it peters out around level 15. He won't sell anything which are greater than this level A9 plasma core, about level 92 or so, is about what quality this stuff stops at. Great, again, good for the mid-level. But I am looking for higher level stuff at this point. Sorry, looking at this shield for a bit. I can't remember if I made this shield or if I bought this shield. So unlike guns, or melee weapons or armor, because there's no durability on shields, I don't have a good feeling for what level it is, and thus what effective craftsmanship I need to be able to produce this. And I've never taken Dismantle on any of my characters, which I believe would probably help in telling me what that number is. Okay, he's not selling anything I'm interested in. Well, he's selling a few things I'm interested in, but I don't want to buy any of it. Oh, but I am going to pick his pocket. I didn't pick, actually, the Warden's pocket, did I? I think we'll come back to do that. And did we pick this guy's pocket? I don't remember if we did. So, something about Fell Seal, which I find interesting, is that the higher level I am in it, and the later the missions are in it that I am attempting to do, the more it's not a nice criticism, but I should well, I'll mention it anyway. The more unbalanced, that's not quite right, it becomes, you can be, and you end up one-shot killing enemies pretty often, or it seems to be the case pretty often, as the levels go up. It suffers from what many miniature games I've played suffer from, and that's the impossibility to recover from an alpha strike. It's pretty grueling. You could get around this a little bit in Warhammer 40k, depending upon your army makeup. When I used to play that a long time ago, but it was difficult to recover from a massive strike very early on. I was a mid player, so I was lucky. When I put my army, my 1,000 My 2,000 point army on the battlefield, I had 5 troop choices, and all of them was 32 gaunts. And the entirety of those gaunts, all 5 troop choices, all 160 or so units on the battlefield, was that cost me about 600 total army points to place it there. And so I could use them as a massive screen. People loved shooting them up and just watching, like, waves of Tyranids just get slaughtered. And then I could hit them back with my stronger forces, where the weaker troops would make up for it. But I watched many other games where someone would take a big hit in the jaw and lose, like, their heavy weapon squad or their fast attack squad, and it was game over at that point. They didn't have the firepower to retaliate back against the massive loss they took. And that was the case for another mission game I played called War Machine, where it was all about the Alpha Strike. If you eliminated the enemy's a powerful unit immediately, they lost. Unless they were using a broken, unbalanced Warcaster with powerful feats, which could slaughter the whole enemy army basically by themselves. In any case, Fell Seals is beginning to run into this problem, in that it's becoming all about positioning, so I can get a one-turn kill off on an enemy, and avoiding the same thing happening to me. It's a shame, actually. I wish that the game had kept its early balance throughout all of it. Underrail is a game which does that very well, actually. It is, or at least I have not experienced such builds that I can slaughter an entire group of people very quickly, unless I am leading them around for a bit first to cluster them, and then a combination of a well-placed mine or two followed by a grenade. The MK5 grenade might be able to do that. Anyway, let's get back to the game. You see a stout middle-aged man butchering a pig. You observe the motions he makes with each cut, and notice how every single one is performed with great ease and accuracy, reflecting years and years of experience. After a few moments, the man puts his knife aside and wipes his hands clean. After that, he turns to you with a slight smile, then begins speaking in a baritone voice of unusual warmth, with just a hint of huskiness in it. Why, hello there. I haven't seen you around here before. I'm Kirk Messer, local butcher, as you can probably see. What do you need? How do you feel about those mine creatures that have been troubling Foundry lately? Well, I don't like them. I think that should be obvious. Yeah, they've killed miners and Foundry guardsmen and are responsible for the temporary closing of the mine. But if we put all that aside for a moment, I often wonder what they taste like. You know, if their meat is edible, and tastes at least somewhat good, I could become the only one who can offer that unique meat in whole South Underrail. Get your rocky steaks at Messer's, yeah! Anyway, what can I do for you? What's the quality of the meat you offer here? Let me put it this way. He cuts a piece of meat on a cutting table and shows it to you. Just look at the color of this one. Smell it. I don't sell muck. This is fresh and quality meat. If you're worried about Foundry's pollution problems affecting the meat quality, don't be. Messer eats the raw piece of meat he just showed you. Good stuff. See? I'm eating it raw. That's how confident I am in its quality. So yeah, I think that should be enough proof. Purchase your meat here and you're golden. Alright, well, let me see what you have to offer. So, a while ago, when I played this game with Garrett, and actually I think maybe with Gabriel, I did during the review, I mentioned how annoying it is to grind creatures for their creature bits. And I believe I docked a few points from Underrail because of the grind. I think I actually docked at two entire points. I think it was the maximum that I was docking for grindy at that point. What I didn't realize, though, is that often, especially now after several patches, some merchants will sell creature bits that you would otherwise need to farm. Maybe not the amount of them, the quantity of them that you would want, but you can buy them. Messer there, after we pick his pocket, not actually pick his pocket, later on, after you solve the problems in Foundry, he will be selling the various bits that you can get from the Bladelings, their eyes and their skin. This way, you don't need to go into the mines and kill the borers and the Bladelings for about an hour to walk out of there with, like, 5 eyes and maybe like 3 skins or so. You won't be able to buy them in as great quantities from Messer, but he will sell them. So that's super nice that you don't actually have to farm as long as you're willing to have less of those ingredients. And of course, you could also farm up more of them. That's another reason why I also really like that the merchants sell eels now, or other fish from time to time, because now you don't need to go fishing if you don't want to have to dig up the organic gel electrolyte, or whatever that stuff is called. You can buy the fish at various merchants and then break it down there. Oh, these people look important. We have Mayor and Chief. The man pays no attention to you, since he seems to be engaged in conversation with the other man. Well, since he's not paying attention, let's see what he's got in his pockets. He's got some coins. I'll take the coins. Oh, fear the Sentinel. Yep. And you are not afraid to have a man put his hands in your pockets. This door is unlocked. That means we're allowed in here. Hello. Foundry Gunner. What are you doing here? I sure hope you don't plan on breaking the law. No one has yet told me I can't rifle through your pants. So let me rub my hands up and down there. Thank you, sir. Alright, Mr. Mayor. A pair of frowning eyes track you as you make your approach. Before you is a thin, short man wearing a well-made leather vest with finely polished shoulder pads cast out of metal, and his coal black gloves, leather boots, and pants seem to be of the same high quality. He addresses you with a tone of voice appropriate to his displeased expression. What is the meaning of this? Who are you? Actually, it doesn't really matter anyway. We're busy, so if you could please leave us to our discussion, I would really appreciate it. I apologize for disturbing you, but I need to ask you a couple of questions. Are you the mayor of this place? He briefly exchanged looks with the man standing next to him. Yeah, I can see where this is headed. Fine. I'm Martin Marshall, and you're right, I'm the mayor of Foundry. The gentleman next to me is Chief Dalton Banner of the Foundry Guard. The chief's appearance is quite the opposite of the mayor's, as he is both taller and wider-shouldered, and in his mere presence you felt the instant you entered the room. Yet despite his imposing image and calm and collected behavior, it is contrast to the mayor's so far feverish temperament. Thus the chief politely nods after having been addressed. Well then, who are you? Decker. Pleased to meet you both. Decker. Well, that's well and good indeed. Now that we're properly introduced, unless you have something of the utmost importance to tell us, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I heard you have problems with some mind creatures. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm sure you did. But please, let me tell you something. Foundry is one of the richest and best defended stations in Lower Underrail. We have so many well-trained and well-armed men and women to take on anyone who tries to disturb us. Why would we need your help? Then you should have it all under control, I suppose. Let's talk about something else. You really like wasting my time, don't you? Is there anything you need help with? Why do you ask me this? Why would I tell you anything? On the other hand, why am I even talking to you? Just leave us, please. Alright then. But first, assuming the leader doesn't mind, I'm going to search your pockets! Let's see if your pockets will talk to me. That's a decent pistol. Some bullets. Do I need bullets? We'll take them. Oh, no, stop! Don't you dare search a desk! Don't you dare search a desk, Decker. That's a red hand. I like that we reach into his pockets, the mayor looks right at us, and I'm like, 40 bullets. Do I need 40 bullets? Let me think about it. Let me check my own bullets. Then we stop and we go into our own pack and count our bullets. We got 64. You got 4. Yeah, we'll take them. We go ahead and just take them. Pickpocketing is wonderful. Yes. What do you know about the mine creatures, Chief? I cannot discuss that with you. I'm sorry. That is classified information. Anything else? I'd like to talk about Evelyn Ingram. Yes. What about her? I've found evidence that she's a murderer. Take a look at this. Give him the flash drive with data from her computer. Chief carefully examines the files from the drive. You wait for him while he does so, but it doesn't take long for him to return to you. This is serious. We've had some people gone missing lately, but most of these disappearances were attributed to the creatures from the mine. I'll send a few men to her home at once. Is there anything else I need to know? She's dead. I had to kill her in self-defense. I'll send some men to see what's going on. You wait here with me. Unbelievable. A hidden bunker full of corpses. I can't believe Evelyn, out of all the people, was capable of committing such monstrous murders. You are lucky to have managed to save your hide there. My men have found her corpse and are still on the scene of the crime. You're free to go. You acted in self-defense. You saved lives by exposing her, and for that, here's a small reward. He gives you 250 Stygian coins. Are there any jobs available around here, Chief? As a matter of fact, I might have something for you. Let's hear it. Very good. You are, I presume, familiar with the Ironheads, one of the largest gangs in Lower Underrail. Well, one of their clans is causing a lot of trouble to Foundry and the whole region. These scum, and that is what they are being led by a man who calls himself Baylor, a man known for two things, his immense physical strength and a sinister red cybernetic eye. And unfortunately for us, I suppose his successful leadership can be added to that list. Isn't a Baylor a type of devil from 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons? It's a gigantic demon that wields like a barbed whip and has like a flaming sword? I think it is. It's been a long time since I've looked that up. I'm pretty sure it is. Sorry, I just always thought that was an appropriate name for this gentleman that we will eventually be killing. Because he is indeed pretty monstrous, although thankfully he doesn't have wings or a whip of that sort. We, Foundry, have placed a bounty on his head for 1,000 charons. If you can bring me his eye as proof, the money is all yours. What else can you tell me about this Baylor guy, and where can I find him? Not much is known about Baylor. Some say that he is over 2 meters tall. Some that he can snap a rat hound's spine in two with one hand. And some even reported him flinging broken off stalagmites at his enemies. A boss, to use the colloquial expression. Of course, some of these claims are outrageous, but one seems consistent. He is more often than not described as wielding a sledgehammer so heavy only he is able to lift it. As one story goes, he even offered one disarmed train guard the chance to use the hammer against him. But the fellow might as well have been trying to raise a boulder. As for where to find him, his clan is situated in Warehouse Block Beta, south of Foundry. The Ironhead activity in that area is quite heavy, and all the recent attacks came from that direction. If Baylor is really there, he has some of the best security in South Underrail. How do I get to this Warehouse Block Beta? It is south of here, but to actually reach it, you'll either have to go west and then south, or east and then south from Foundry entrance. Both ways lead to the warehouse block, and both should be well defended. What can you tell me about the Ironheads? They are the best organized gang in Lower Underrail. While technically comprised of multiple different clans, their cooperation and common interests clearly make them a part of a bigger whole. They have been increasingly more difficult to repel in the recent years. Previously, they were but a nuisance, and not much different than other lowlives roaming the metro, but steadily they have grown in size and power. They are intercepting travelers and merchants near stations, attacking heavily protected convoys, and have, in general, grown more bold and, dare I say, more cunning. We have more than enough firepower for them to even think about attacking the station itself, but the areas near Foundry, those are difficult to protect effectively. Other than that, I can't tell you much more. We learned about them only through their misdeeds, and since the name Baylor grew more and more associated with those, I can safely say that his leadership is what made the local Ironheads a dangerous enemy. I'll do it. Very good. Best of luck, and remember, bring me his eye as proof. Now first, before we do that, can we get the quest from the mayor after having turned in the evidence of Evelyn? We can! Okay. Oh, holy crap! So, I have occasionally solved Evelyn's problem by breaking into the bunker, getting information first, but I never actually turned that information in until after I had always defeated Baylor. This is the first time, actually, that I am now realizing that I don't have to kill Baylor in order to finish up the Foundry quest. Interesting. Chief told me you are someone who can be trusted. As far as I understood, you were of great assistance in some important matters. Well and good. If you really are so keen on helping us, Decker, then why not give you a chance? You do have energy. Alright, as you know, unless you've been living under the most remote cave known, unknown to humanity, Foundry is the largest exporter of iron in Lower Underrail. What's even better is that our mine is rich, not just with iron, but aluminum, titanium, and, as of recently, chromium. We discovered large amounts of it several months ago, in the form of chromite ore. Needless to say, as soon as we discovered it, our miners began following the chromite veins. And so, a few weeks ago, they mined into a new cavern, and encountered the very creatures you mentioned. What they saw there was unlike anything we have ever seen or heard of before. These beings had shells made of rock with metallic blades protruding from their backs. Yes, you heard me right. Shells made of rock. The creatures were aggressive, and we had to bring in the Foundry Guard to deal with them. Now, those creatures, while resilient, were still no match for our brave troops. The true problem revealed itself when the guards encountered the beast. I have encountered that creature already. I went inside the mine on my own. You what? You what? You absolute madman. Who let... But why would you do something as dangerous as that? I got lost. You wanted to kill it and become a hero, to celebrate this as the sole saver of Foundry, correct? Ah, so that's why you then came to me and asked if we needed help. You had failed. The beast is not dead. No, it isn't. Well, at least you made it out alive, but the creature is unstoppable. The Foundry Guard already tried nearly everything. The guardsmen shot it, burned it, used grenades, nothing. It's hard rock, as you probably noticed for yourself. Most of the men sent to clear the mine are now dead, and I've had no other options but to order the closing of the mine. This problem will be hurting Foundry really fast if we don't find a way to deal with those things. We have days, a week at most, before we run out of ore supplies, after which all production will stop. What can I do to help? We need a solution to this problem, and we would appreciate it if you could help us find one. At one point, we considered using explosives to collapse the tunnel and seal them off, but our mining supervisor advised us against it. What's worse, even though those things have been a bit quieter in the mines for a few days now, the rock creatures are emerging from the mines and attacking our citizens. Although some of the deaths we thought were caused by the rock creatures were actually murders you helped Chief Banner solve, all entrances to the mine are heavily guarded, so we were baffled to have learned that some people have gone missing. Mind if I interrupt you for a second, sir? Not at all, Chief, not at all. I was almost done anyway. Go ahead. As you see, young man, this is a problem which could, if left unsolved, mean the end of Foundry. The mine does not only feed the mouths of those people here, but also secures their protection. Do you think the Foundry Guard operates solely on goodwill? If you really want to help us, my suggestion is that you first speak with the only survivor from the unit that has been tasked with clearing the mine. He knows more about the creatures than any one of us. His name is Sabin Mullov. You can find him at the mine entrance with the other guards. This is just to the east of the metalworks. Got it. Anything... By the way, what do I get for doing all this? If you can help us deal with this problem, you'll be generously rewarded. There's just one more thing. You might also want to speak with Marcos Banti. He's our mining supervisor. You'll also find him at the mine entrance. He did advise us against collapsing that part of the mine with explosives, but talk to him again. Perhaps you can work out some solution to the problem. I believe he went through... I believe we went through everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Messed up that last sentence. I believe we've went through everything. I'm on the job. Well and good. Go now. And report to us once you have something. Alright. Now, I get the impression you're not supposed to like the mayor. But, I mean, he seems rather down to earth to me. Why on earth would he talk to us? Indeed, he knows nothing about us whatsoever. And why would they tell us about our problems when they themselves are discussing it, and possibly they might have a way to deal with it? In any case, I can't blame them for not being so open to a complete stranger walking around their town, who walks into their office and demands to speak to them, and then asks if they have a job for them to do, for that guy to do. All right, let's talk with Dan. Actually, we'll pick his pocket, but I'm probably not taking anything that he has. Oh, we can take his 9 Stygian coins, I suppose, at least, though. Let's search this commerce pockets, and then we'll see what Dan has to say. Oh, hold on. We have a ladder. Oh, and I haven't put my lockpicks back on my hotbar, so let's do that as well. And I guess we'll see what's in this locker really quick. Maybe we can get lucky, get another oddie item. Looks like we got at least 1 oddie point for turning in the quest with Evelyn. Oh, we got 2! Nice. 2 points of oddie experience points. 2 points of oddie experience for reporting about Evelyn. You see a man leaning on a rusty fence. Judging by his appearance, he seems to be one of the Foundry guards, but unlike the others, his watchful eyes seem more concerned with evaluating passing women than with trying to catch signs of unlawful behavior. He straightens up upon seeing you approach him, coming up just taller than average, picks up his rifle, which was also placed against the fence, and offers a friendly, informal greeting. Hey, man, how's it going? Hey, you seem pretty laid back in comparison to the other guards. You got me there. It might surprise you, but being a guard in Foundry is a very, very boring job. You gotta stand around all day, breathe this damn polluted air, and worst of all, you have to be nice to people. It sucks. I just want to shoot things. It's that simple. The outer perimeter patrols at least get to fight something, but in here, absolutely nothing interesting happens. What about all those creatures that attacked the miners? Ah, yes. I was so happy about the whole affair because I thought I was finally going to shoot some stuff, you see. But no, there's this large beast that's impervious to bullets and other stuff. The mayor told our chief to order everyone not to engage the creatures any longer and retreat back. We have to think about it, discuss it, blah blah. Yeah, I've heard a few things about that beast. I've already also spoken with the... I saw that creature with my very own eyes. You went in there while the whole Foundry Guard was wetting their pants at the very mention of it? Wow. Let me say that again. Wow. So is it really like a bigger, slightly more invulnerable version of the smaller ones? Pretty much. Damn. I like you. You got guts. You went there like a boss, or everyone else is discussing how to handle this whole situation. Hoppers. Back in my day, my pals and me would have taken on anything. Men, beast, or both. We had freaking guts. You know, don't think, just jump in the fight. But these guys in Foundry, hoppers. Hoppers, I tell you. I get it, Dan. This is pretty awesome. Very rarely have I also gone into the mine before I got the quest to talk with the foreman. So this is the first time I'm doing things in a different order. I like these people's reactions to it. And given that it's the first time I'm doing this, especially on screen, I figured we might as well choose all the options I can that maybe no one else has ever chosen before. And he's referring to the Foundry Guard as hoppers because of how quickly they run away and hide in their holes. That's a pretty good description of them. You mentioned some pals of yours. Yeah, well, back in the day, I used to be part of some bandit gang from Core City. Hey, life was tough. A man's got to make a living somehow. And if that includes relieving people of excess charons, then, well... Anyway, we were all very young and fearless. We had the guts to fight anything and anyone. Unfortunately, many of us got killed because we had more guts than brains. But I missed that mentality. It was fun. You seem to have done better than the others. Yeah, but if it wasn't for my best friend, I'd probably be decomposing in some ditch by now. Him and we used to be so close, like eyeballs. Not bad comparison, sorry. The point is, we were very close, and we got into so much trouble together. Thankfully, we always pulled through. Who was this man? Gorski was his name. He was this big, strong bastard, tough as hell. You know, no-nonsense kind of guy who punched you in the face and break every bone in it if you even looked at him the wrong way. Damn, it's been like 13 years or so since I last saw him. I heard somewhere that he later went to Southgate Station. I missed the bastard. This place is so damn boring. You heard right. He is from Southgate Station. He's definitely hard to miss. I'll be damned. This is incredible. How's my old pal holding up? From what you told me, I'd say he hasn't changed one bit. I'm so glad that man hasn't changed. He used to be a beast. You know what? When you see him again, tell him Dan Forte said hi. He'll recognize the name right away. Unless his memory went to hell after all those years. But nah, even if it did, he wouldn't forget his old pal. Can you tell me some interesting story about you and Gorski? Why not? It's not like I'm busy. Alright, listen up. This one's from more than 10 years ago. Good old days. As I already mentioned, Gorski and I used to be part of the same gang. Life was decent with those guys. We had the skills, had the courage, and because of that, we had a bit of money in our pockets. So one day, we were on the prowl in the vicinity of Core City when we ran into a rival gang's patrol, the Black Crawlers. They used to be the biggest, baddest gang in Core City, and even that little patrol seemed like an army in comparison to the few of us. First shots were instantly fired, and the very first one ended up blowing our point man's brain to smithereens, poor guy. All of us got behind cover, exchanged fire with them for a good while, and soon only Gorski and I remained breathing from our group. Bullets were flying all over the place, grenades exploded all around us, it was pure chaos. A dozen of those damn crawlers were still alive, and they were slowly approaching our position. Started to surround us, and to make things worse, we were running low on ammo. That's when Gorski got mad. Oh, you should have seen that angry face. He took his last grenade, threw it in their general direction, and then charged them. They couldn't believe what they were witnessing. He had this maniacal grin that would scare a lurker into becoming a fungivore, and started mowing down our enemies. Of course, I couldn't just let him have all the damn fun. I stormed them too, and together we started annihilating everything that moved. I screamed from the top of my lungs while emptying my magazine, those poor fools. Just... Anyway, soon enough, Gorski was out of ammo, but that didn't stop him from killing people. He punched them, stabbed them, and yelled at them until he found one measly guy behind cover, whose teeth he smashed with the butt of his now empty gun, then slit his throat with a knife. That guy ended up being the only son of the crawler's leader, and his death would later cause us a lot of trouble, but that's a whole different story. All in all, soon after I fired my last shot, I heard the last crawler release his dying groan. After a moment, once we realized it was all indeed over, Gorski approached me, still breathing heavily, all covered in blood. Then he said, I remember it clearly, he said, we need to bring more bloody bullets next time. Oh man, it was all so crazy. To this day, I have no idea how we survived against such slim odds. Well, just the two of us at least. That's amazing. You had to be there, man. Had to be there to fully experience the carnage. Those were the days. Again, tell Gorski I said hi next time you see him. I gotta move. Take care, Dan. Alright, nice. A little story. And we will tell Gorski when we see him about that. Because Gorski, you can get Dan and Gorski to team up again for a certain mission that they have. Hello. What is this? Abandoned sniper rifle. The sniper rifle was found on one of the rooftops in Foundry. The weapon appears to have been used sometime in the past. That's right, that weapon seems to have been used sometime in the past. I should say that because this is what I believe Tordor Sallywatch used to kill David Baval. Hey, some Foundry plans. Another oddie point. 2 more, we level up again. Also note that there is another one of these strange colored circles up here in Foundry. I think before I had done the quest that involves them, the Dude's Quest, I had found 3 of them scattered about Underrail. I was pretty happy to just, once I completed Dude's Quest, and I realized that's what they were for, to immediately run over to those 3 and unlock them. They are the teleportation points that you'll be able to warp through later on when you complete the Dude's Quest. Alright, so let's go back and talk with Nicholas. And then we've almost been playing the game for an entire hour, everyone, so we're probably going to stop soon. But I would like to read your comments from the last video first. I suppose while walking over here, by the way, know that the Fearless Cheat Engine's cheat table for this game was worked on by those amazing people over there, and they got it working again. So I was able to use the cheat engine to sell a huge amount of stuff that Decker had in those barrels. And we have 30,000 Stygian coins already now. That's awesome. We will be totally getting some super steel, I think, while we're here. Oh, this is the wrong house. Alright, let's talk with Nicholas. I don't think I need too much of it. I might make some super steel boots out of it, or maybe a helmet out of it. I have to make up my mind what I want and how much armor penalty we're going to have in the end. I'm thinking we'll wear the Greater Siphoner leather to take advantage of our dodge and the fact we have dodge and evasion. We might get a normal helmet, and then for boots, I'll have to think about what type of boots we want. Oh! The gentleman's not here. Is he working in the Foundry, I wonder? Let's find out. Maybe we can't get the quest from him now. Let's take a quick peek and see if Nicholas is over here somewhere. Hey, there he is. I'm very busy. Can't talk now. Oh, okay. All right. So we can't get his quest. All right. So I missed the opportunity to do that. Darn it. All right. Decker seems like the type of character who would totally do it. All right. Well, then I guess we'll search his house while we're here. And then we'll wander into the Underrail passageways. And we'll talk about your comments really quick, and then we'll wrap up this session. I'm actually, do I want to... Let's do this. That turns on the lights in the other places in his home. Okay. I'm just here checking for Foundry plans. And morphine. And a footlocker. A locked footlocker. Come on, Foundry plans! Give us another oddity point. Nothing. Well, I'm sorry, there's some decent stuff in here. Well, decent? Is that the correct term for it? I feel a little bad stealing from this guy. I'm gonna let him keep all that stuff. We don't need the money. We don't need the core. He's having a rough... His marriage is unfortunately going out the tubes. Is that the proper phrase? Nope. Down the tubes? Down the tubes. There we go. It's going down the tubes. That sucks. Alright, but you know what doesn't suck? Getting comments on my videos. This has been amazing. Thank you all so much as well. You guys have been extraordinarily kind for the Underrail videos on my channel. Thank you. So I'm going to go through them. I guess I should go with newest first. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, so Nick left a comment on my video. I like the background. That tree reminds me of something from like the Farscape cartoons. The comic strip. He says, thanks for the awesome video as always. Even though I've played Underrail to death, you keep making this exciting. Oh, thanks, Nick. I myself have played this to death. I have just, if Steam is to be believed, when I started recording today, I had 1,399.4 hours invested in Underrail. I love this game. The game has an amazing amount of replayability. It's the builds you can have, like the builds you can take to the end of the game. They can all wildly be different from each other. And yet, it at no point feels like any... Well, I guess some of them are stronger than others, but they all feel doable on that note. Like, I got to the end of the game with a dagger user, with my first character. He managed to reach the deep caverns. So it's totally possible to reach the end game with anything, assuming that you don't spread your points too thin. Like, if you understand what Underrail demands of you when it comes to making a character, then you'll be able to make it to the end of the game. Now, I love this game. The lore has been great. I really liked all the additions and how Stygian Software keeps working on the game. They've released new content for it for free! For free! They released a bunch of this stuff. A lot of the AAA titles, you know, they'd have added the waterways as some new content and a few new quests, and they'd have charged you $10 for it. But not Stygian Software. They give it to you for free because they really like the games that they created, and they want to add more content to keep it entertaining. That's absolutely wonderful. So then I asked Nick what his favorite build was. And Nick replied with, "I'm a pure Psy guy all the way. Call me a cheater all you want, but something about being a cave wizard just appeals to me. My second favorite, though, is definitely a dedicated grenadier, just because of the sheer power it holds later into the game. Seeing big damage numbers is always a good feeling." Yeah, so I've always felt guilty playing a pure psionic character because of how powerful it is. It is very powerful, but I think it would be wrong. Is that the proper word? Wouldn't be fair? I don't know quite way to describe it, but calling it cheating because you're using a build that is very powerful in a game which is the odds are stacked against you. I don't think it's cheating. I've mentioned that I won't record myself playing a pure psionic cave wizard. I was at stealth, grenades, psionics, because I think it would be too easy, and I think I want you guys to enjoy watching me struggle to get past certain encounters. I think it's more entertaining for a YouTube playlist for you guys to be entertained that way. Now, if I had been playing Underrail for the very first time, then I'd still be dying, even if I was playing that powerful build like that, because all the ambushes would kill me, every single one of them. I wouldn't be prepared to fight the coil spiders down in Hakate Research Outpost, for example, and so on. I would be making all sorts of mistakes. Every ambush would kill me, just like it used to in the past, and that would be glorious. And I'd beaten the game, and I wouldn't have thought it was very powerful that build, because how many times I die. But now that I have all this experience and know where all the traps are, all the ambushes are, what have you, it's just not a build. It's not a build that I'll record the game with. But I don't hold anyone in contempt for playing the game the way they want. It's a single-player game. So, if you have fun playing a full psionic build, do it. Absolutely. Play what you find fun. On that note, I do like the changes, we talked about this before, that was made to psionics to bring it into the same power level as other builds. And having played a few characters who have gone full psionics, I think one of my characters has 3 different psionic schools, it still feels very powerful. It's just... it's been reined in a bit. So you have to do a little bit of planning, but you have to do that planning anyway with all the other characters as well. So it feels less powerful than it used to, and that's a good thing too. But yeah, I would never consider a pure psi guy cheating. No way. Nope. Not even when psionics was as powerful as it was. It might be a bit easier, but again, you have fun playing it, you play it. No problem. I have no problem with that. What else is there? Necrolord says, "Oh, holy crap! We're going back to Foundry." Necrolord says, "By the way, you can talk to his wife and convince her to give you a counter quest to get rid of her husband by throwing him into molten metal or platform malfunction at his workplace via electronics to cause a short circuit, frying its operator." So that was what we saw Nicholas working at just like a minute or 3 ago. I'd always been curious as to what purpose that served. And so, once I had read Necrolord saying you could get a quest from his wife, I immediately knew, without reading the rest of the sentence, that you must utilize that in some fashion to kill him. And yep, that's pretty interesting. I'll have to, if I ever record this game again, we'll have to try that. We'll have to play a character who does every single quest the wrong way, or does things in an evil fashion. Like, the character will detonate the explosives in the mines at Foundry to seal the beast inside. In any case, Necrolord says, but not sure if about any secret door in that wall, but did you notice the crate at 5315? You hovered upon it with a cursor for several times within a minute or so, and the cursor shows you can interact with that crate. I didn't even notice, and I'm someone who was swinging my cursor all around on the crates to see if I could interact with them. Because we've seen now that there's been at least like 3 or 4 barrels or crates or objects that we can interact with, but the game doesn't tell us we can interact with it. So we're going back right now. Go ahead and take a peek at that and see if indeed it's got the Oddie item I thought was in there. I think it might be a 2-point Oddie item. If I remember correctly, there's an Oddie item, I want to say, in that hallway that you can get at most 3 of, and this is the 3rd spot for it. Who else has a comment? Thermonuclear War says, this was amazing. Very suspenseful. I think it's a very good idea if you could do Jack quests and at least visit Oculus before the cube changed its current owner during the Ogliar questline. There's a nice surprise this way. Okay, sure. So, actually, I had planned to do things in that order after all. Mostly because I wanted to... Well, actually, mostly because I just wanted to complete most of the quests early on before I actually went and finished up the arena. The Jack questlines also doesn't require very much combat, if any combat. And so I won't feel compelled to get a higher level gun. And so because of that, I figured, yeah, sure, I'll do it in this order. Yep, so no problem, Thermonuclear War. That's the order I plan on doing things. Yep. I'm actually curious as to what I'll see when I get to Oculus then. And he says, thanks. I mentioned that to him as well. I said, yep, that's a great idea. I was planning on doing that. I'm sorry, I said I hadn't made up my mind on what order I was going to complete the Jack Silver quest and Overly Arcs. But I figured we'd finish Foundry first, and then, yep, I'll go ahead and do it in this order. Turns out when I checked, so you guys can't see it, but over here, I have all these papers, and so, this is so dumb, I'm gonna talk about it anyway. I make these checklists at home with the things I want to do. These are things like mow the lawn, go food shopping, clean the bathroom. But in addition to that, I have these papers, as I'm looking at one of them, that has the things I want to do for the games I am currently playing. Like in Star Wars Old Republic, I have finish Manon, record miscellaneous stuff, go shopping, do the, what does it say? Do the plot twist, and so on. And so for Underrail, I have finish Foundry, do Jack Quicksilver, complete Arena. This is the order in which I meant to do those things. So where's this? Oh, you're right. It doesn't even show up. There's no text on it. Although what's interesting is you can see the full crate highlight through when I hold down tab. Oh, this is it. Oh, but I was incorrect. Okay, thank you, Necrolord. So I was wrong. It is an item that you can only study 3 times. But we've already studied it 3 times. Loaded dice. And there's a rubber soul here as well. Ah, okay. I thought it was a secret door. Right here at this wall. Okay. I'm pretty sure that was indeed what I was thinking of. Because I knew there was an oddity in this hallway. Maybe I found it on a different character who didn't have pickpocket. And so I never got the other loaded dice off of Elwood back at Junkyard. And we got like 3 minutes. We've been playing for an hour. So, darn it. There's a lot more I want to talk about, but I don't want to start rambling about it now. So I guess I won't. Well, on that note then, Tim, you're out of things to talk about. You want to start another big, huge conversation about something, but you're just going to stop the recording in a few more minutes. And I really should break this up because I've been playing Loop Hero a lot recently, Actually, so hold on. So I guess we'll talk about this really quick while we wander over to the Ironheads, and we'll call it quits there. So first, I originally wanted to roll several Balor fights together into one video, but that's not going to happen in the end. I will probably do a video that will be uploaded into the other playlist where all these other characters of mine kill Balor, but it's not going to happen in this playlist because I have to get them over here, and I've been addicted to some other games recently that are sucking away all the time and stopping me from recording the games I should be recording, like Underrail. So I'm playing a ton of Loop Hero now. The next few videos that go up for that game are up to like 4 or even, I think, 5 hours, one of them. Because I really like Loop Hero's main gameplay loop, pun intended. It's really super addicting, the game. Even though I've beaten it once, and it took me 50-something hours to get to the final boss and beat him the first time, it's been a lot of fun to play through the game again. Especially because I think I am proving to the people who are watching that playlist that I know what I'm doing in it. I haven't even died once, which is amazing. That will change when I start Chapter 4, I'm pretty sure. In any case, Loop Hero has been super addicting, and just this week, on Saturday, the 23rd, I started playing a game that I played in the past several times, called Geneforge. I picked up the Geneforge Mutagen game from Steam. I own all the original Geneforge games, and when I saw that a rework of the first game was released by the same developer, I believe, which included a graphical update, some quest changes, dialogue alterations and fixings, and some balance changes, I immediately picked up the game. I've never beaten Geneforge. In fact, I would always play the game for maybe like 10 hours or so. I'd get up to Pentil, where the Obeyers are, and I'd stop there more or less every single time, because I would get distracted by different games instead. So this time, I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to keep playing this game. Because I like the idea of the game. It's a turn-based strategy game, and in a similar fashion to Underrail, but Underrail, I think, is probably a lot more tactical than Geneforge is. But oh man, it's got a ton of content in it. I think let me check really quick on Steam. Steam, how long have I played Geneforge Mutagen for? 17.6 hours so far, and I don't think even halfway done with the game at this point. Probably close to 40, maybe 60 hours in the game. And there's different character types you can play through the game with and different builds you can aim for. I am, of course, playing a Shaper in it, and I went for Fire and Magic as the two types of creatures I'm summoning. But it's great. A part of me feels a little guilty for playing it so much because I feel like I should be actually recording the game, but I'm already playing several really long turn-based strategy games, and we've got at least one more to play after we're done with one of the games we're currently uploading, right? Because we want to start playing Tides of Numenera, and that's going to be like another 100 video long playlist. In any case, speaking of playlists, I think we're done with this video for this playlist. So thank you guys for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one, where we will begin killing all of the Ironheads. So I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching, everyone.